So I just got done watching the Demon Slayer movie just moments ago, immediately jumped up here to record my thoughts. So where I live, it's impossible to even see the movie in theaters even if I wanted to. So it was looking like I was going to have to wait until the official release date in June, and then someone over at the PlayStation Network must have set the date a tad wrong a couple of months early, and in doing so, the internet, myself included, exploded and watched it in glory before it was taken down, and even then, once it's on the internet, you can't get rid of it even if you want to. Now, there was a lot of buzz around this. There was a lot of excitement. Even before people started watching it, the manga readers were hyping this arc up, saying it fit perfectly in movie format. A couple of hours would be more than enough to cover this arc, and you would get characters like Rengoku to really shine alongside fan favorites like Tanjiro. And I'm going to divide this video up into two sections, spoiler free in case people haven't seen it yet, they're waiting to see it in theaters, or they're waiting for it to come out officially again in June. Whatever it may be, there will be a spoiler free and obviously spoiler section. Obviously people have different opinions on what is a spoiler. I'm not going to go into specifics surrounding characters, but if you don't want to know anything like plot points, like what powers might be in this movie, things like that, then I guess it's not as spoiler free as you may want, but to me, I personally consider that type of stuff to be spoiler free. This movie is incredible. It's without a doubt, I think, a pretty flawless movie, all things considered. The production is tight, which we already had incredible production with the TV version of Demon Slayer. So what would a movie do to elevate the quality? Because at this point in time, with how most anime movies to TV series are, there's not a lot of difference in the overall character designs because anime character designs have gotten a lot more crisp and detailed over the years, and Demon Slayer already looked really incredible. So where would the movie side of this really take it and extend it to say not only would you want to see it in theaters if you could, but why should it benefit by having a theatrical release rather than just having 6 episodes in a second season, so to speak? And the biggest factor of what makes this better in a movie format is the 3D camera work that happens surrounding this train, because they're fighting on a moving train, right? There's something going on. People are going in, they're never coming out. And there comes a point around, I would say the midway point of the movie, where the 3D and just how the demon kind of explodes on screen, it really uses it to its full potential, where I could see if this would have been a TV version of the arc, there probably would have been multiple points where the train and what was happening on it probably wouldn't have been as smoothly animated as it was here, because when you're giving who knows how long for the production, a year, to make essentially 6 episodes worth of content in a 2-hour movie, had they been doing an entire season at the same time, it probably would have led to some of these incredible shots not being as highly animated and detailed as they were here. There is not an ounce of dipping in quality in this. It is, without a doubt, what you loved at peak Demon Slayer in the TV version. It's there, and at times it even excels past that. I think the characters across the board are likable and memorable. All our fan favorites are here, and you get a lot of ridiculous and funny moments before shit hits the fan. But without a doubt, I would say this is Tanjiro's movie, and that's kind of shocking because when it first starts off, I was like, oh, this is going to be a Rengoku movie. It's going to be him. He has a memorable personality, he's eaten ridiculous amounts, and he's just a source of positivity surrounding so much chaos. And while he does have an incredible arc in this movie, I do think this is Tanjiro's movie and time to shine overall, and it puts Tanjiro in the worst case scenario I think he's ever been in, and puts him in a pretty devastating spot that he has to overcome some pretty insane mental anguish. I absolutely love it, and the overall idea of this battle, it revolves around, I would say, one of my personal favorite things, which is dreams, and characters getting trapped in dreams and having to escape from them, and how do you fight and get out of your wildest imagination, right? Because the dreams are pretty pleasant, all things considered. And I think for a character like Tanjiro, what we saw at the beginning of this series, I mean, for him to be able to see such wonders again, it's a pretty insane thing for him to have to overcome and how he overcomes it. Now, it's kind of hard to say anything more past that without going to really big specifics, so if people want to know, is the movie exciting? Is it worth your time? Absolutely. It's peak Demon Slayer. It's without a doubt the best arc. And even if you don't come out saying it's your personal favorite arc, it's a much needed arc to propel all these characters forward and to give Tanjiro his next objective and where season 2 will clearly go from here. Now, Specifics. The whole idea of the power system seen here, I love it. Freddy Krueger as an example, I think even if I'm not the biggest fan of specific movies, the idea of someone invading your dreams and haunting your nightmares is a really cool power. And the idea of having this character who not only gives you your best case scenario dreams, apparently after you're having these pleasant dreams, just before you're dead, he'll give you a nightmare because it loves to see the shock in your face. That was that's what I wanted to see, because at first I was like, interesting, he's giving you pleasant dreams, so what would really be the purpose of having these minions, right, who are attaching themselves to our heroes, who then invade their dreams to destroy their core, with the reward being a pleasant dream. And even then, it feels like after realizing that you'll get nightmares before your death, it kind of feels to me that even these characters, these kids, would probably end up in the same scenario. I absolutely love just how impactful this fight was, and the fact that it really didn't feel like overwhelming action until probably the second act. There really is 3 acts to this movie, the first act being the setup in the dreams, the second act being fighting the train, with the third act being clearly Rengoku versus this very upper-class demon who does some pretty nasty things, all things considered. But the dream sequence I absolutely adored, and just seeing how each character was dealing with it differently. Obviously, you have some funny moments with, Zensu as well as Inosuke, and that's amazing, that's hilarious, that's funny. But Tanjiro was definitely emotional, considering, this is everything he wants, and the pain of him having to let go of everything he wants to see his family safe and secure. And afterwards, when he gets out of that situation and actually starts fighting this demon, it was interesting to see how he was able to go up against him, because as soon as you look at this guy, he can make you go to sleep. And he was snapping out of it, simultaneously. And it was because every time he went into his dream, he killed himself. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, there has to come a point, or I'm going to be very disappointed, that he's going to misread the situation and try to kill himself in the real world. And it happens afterwards when Inosuke comes in to save him, basically surrounded by all these eyes, and what is he going to do? Well, he has to kill himself, and Inosuke, because of his mask not knowing where he's actually looking, he's able to avoid most of the dream sequences, which it was so great to see how far it pushed these characters and how it felt like the most dangerous scenario they've dealt with to date. It felt like the escalation and the tension as the train's being warped, you cut off the head, you're like, well, that was easy. How the hell is there still an hour left to the movie? Oh shit, we're gonna fight the entire train. It felt like at every point, every way you looked at this, you were like, okay, I see the formula that they're going to go. They're invading their dreams, so they get out of their dreams, and then they cut off the head, right? I just was expecting that the body that we were fighting on top of the train would mutate again and do something different. I wasn't expecting to consume the entire train, as then you have a 200-course meal, right? So to see all that take place and the way the characters were struggling to overcome it, I thought was excellently done. It was emotionally painful, and I think given how this show started out, it definitely was a hard dream to walk away from. But where it got really interesting was definitely in Act 2 with the combination, how every character was utilizing their abilities. Rengoku carrying on with 5 of the carts by himself. We got the little sis here doing some amazing work with our lightning boy here. Everything about it felt like it was working rather well. I had a suspicion that there was going to be a death here. I really did. But there was nothing leading me to really cement that idea until the third act, which we'll get to in a minute. But watching it, it felt very disturbing, and the fact that they actually managed to defeat the train was something I didn't see coming. I thought it was going to be one of those shonen techniques where, okay, you defeated the enemy, but in comes its true form, right? Because when everyone is winded, breathing, you see this creature wanting to kill Tanjiro, you have to expect it's going to get its second wind, but no, it just disintegrates. And that's when I was like, okay, I honestly have no idea where it's going. I guess maybe my, voice in the back of my head worrying that things were going to go bad was for nothing, and then in comes this bastard. And honestly, I thought Rengoku was going to be fine up until he got winded. When I saw him winded and actually have to catch his breath, I knew it was game over. But I also suspected that he would kill him, because that's just how the formula works, right? If a character's not getting its new form in order to continue the fight, well then at that point, our heroes have to do it. This man's insane, right? His personality is fiery, hot, he's positive, no matter what happens, he's just a bundle of energy. And to see the escalation of the fight to then literally watching him in a worst case scenario as you are hoping the sun comes up to burn them, it was an emotional scene, and the fact that it got away, I think on one hand, pisses you off. on the flip side, makes this series once again a highlight in the written department. Tanjiro's freaking out. Tanjiro is losing it. We are humans, we fight you at night when we're at our weakest, yet you run away as soon as the sun's there. And that's exactly what a demon should do. It's painful, it's disappointing, but this is a character who was able to make sure that every single person survived, well, minus himself. And that's what made the action so interesting, is that it constantly played with your perspective of what was going to happen. Because even when you were like convinced this man was going to die, you probably were convinced that he would kill this demon. And the fact that he couldn't, it proves how devastating the upper rankings are for this hierarchy, and how far Tanjiro once again has to go in order to become strong enough to hopefully save his sister and everyone else. It's insane, and honestly, while it was emotional to get the goodbye between Tanjiro and everyone, I thought where it really hit home was when everyone got the message that he ended up dead. And how everyone took it differently. Some kind of in disbelief, like, what? Or just, I see. Others emotionally distraught. It just felt like this movie had 3 equally memorable parts. The dream sequence, which I love dream powers and how characters either really embraced it or was trying their best not to embrace it. The whole fight with the train actually becoming an entire demon you have to fight, which was really cool and well animated. And the final moments with arguably new best boy before he leaves. And sometimes a character death, it feels a little meaningless. You're like, okay, you killed us just for shock value. And while it was shocking, I think it does go to show that this death was meaningful, it was needed. While I would have loved to see more of this man, it does prove, I think this death proves how far upper hierarchy of this chain is, and like, you have no shot in hell at even defeating them or even his boss right now. So I think it serves as a shock, but it also shows as a new goalpost, so to speak. And that's what I think made this movie so engaging. It was definitely emotional. The action was the best we've seen, and it still remained to be cute and funny at the beginning to ease you into the insanity, and just, without a doubt, worth the hype. I mean, this would have been interesting to see for sure in the TV format, just to see how they might have structured it, but I mean, because it was a movie, there was no dips in quality, and it just functioned as one big arc that, you had no chance to really breathe, and by the time you did, a character that was so great ended up dead. I'm excited for season 2 for sure. I'm glad we finally got to see it over here in the West, and hopefully people are enjoying it if they can see it safely. This was incredible. This is well worth buying on Blu-ray when we get the opportunity. It was incredible, and I'm excited for more. I mean, it was great. I could ramble on for hours, but I want to not make the video too long. It was well worth the hype, which not many anime movies get to say. Let me know your thoughts and feelings though down below if you have seen it, and where you think it might go with season 2. We definitely have a new goalpost on where he needs to go. We're going to Rengoku's family, but anything else you're hoping to see when we do get that season 2 later on? Let me know your feelings down below. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, share your support, and hit that subscribe button if you're happy new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.